Well, hello there and welcome back to the F1 2017 Sauber career mode. We're at round, what is it, 8, 9, something like that, I can't remember, almost half distance in season number 2. We're at Austria and we're just about to partake in the qualifying session, pissing down outside again, so I think it's going to be similar conditions to what we had the last time out at Baku, and the less said about that weekend the better. So the first thing we'll do is listen to the voicemail for the qualifying target, and then we'll talk about practice. Qualifying 19th for higher and beat Massa, very achievable that is, with the changeable conditions. So then, practice session, all very nice, 275 out of 275. We've only got 450 resource points now because we've spent some more monies. As last episode we've done that one, so we're now up to 4 out of 5, and that'll be the last one. I won't do the 5th one. And also over here on the powertrain as well, although to be honest I might end up just getting that as well. Come on Alex, I've got to stop buying these things and actually start to do some upgrades on the car. But yeah, you know, we might have more than, we should have more than 600 after the race, so I don't know, if we end up being close to about, I don't know, 800, I might just wait and then do another one on the powertrain. If we're just over 600, I might just get one of the chassis out of the way. As for the vehicle management, we're now moving on to our third unit. For a majority of the stuff, still on the second unit for the energy store at 27% and 21 for the electronics, but onto the third unit for everything else. These ones here, 41 and 44, are still good for several practice sessions. Just we're getting a bit high now on units number 1, so it's a bit pointless even running them anymore. Although I usually don't. As soon as I hit the red, I usually don't run them anymore because it's a bit pointless. The gearbox is 29%, and we're just about to do our third race, so we're looking good for that. So not much else to talk about. Then we'll go to short qualifying, have a look at the weather, and yeah, try to start as far up the grid as we can in the changing conditions. So then, in the garage, we'll have a quick look at the weather. The first 10 minutes is going to be heavy rain. Is it going to be changing to intermediates before the end? Yes. Okay, interesting. So we'll have a quick look at the setup then before we go out, because we'll definitely have time to do 2 runs in this session. We'll have a look at the tyres first of all. The intermediates are already quicker. Well, I'm going intermediates then. So we'll drain the fuel out first of all. Aero 6.5. I'll keep it 6.5 in the wet. Transmission 50-70. Suspension geometry bang in the middle for the camber, a little bit to the left for the toes. Suspension is 7.4, 7.5, 4.4 for the ride height. Brakes 80, but we'll jump up to 85. Tyres bang in the middle for the PSI, which is nice, and the weight distribution is at 7. So very nice. 11 minutes left. We're already on the intermediate tyres because it's saying it's quicker. So we'll go out there, we'll do a lap, and yeah, once the conditions start to change a little bit towards the end, we'll go out again and try to improve. Whoa. Being a little bit sideways in this outlap. It did say switch to recommended tyre, so maybe the intermediates aren't ready just yet, but we'll give it a go. You never know. So then, just over 5 minutes left. I've already put on another set of intermediate tyres. You've only got one set of untouched inters for the race. That's fine, because I think the race is going to be dry. It is, so don't worry about that. 1.4 seconds off of Hamilton, and we're usually pretty quick in the wet. I would have expected to get ahead of Kvyat and Massa. So it's not inters just yet, although it felt alright. But I think the conditions are going to continually improve until the end of the session. I don't know if there's any other cars coming out on track. There's a few here. What are they on? They're all on inters, so yeah, it is definitely intermediate tyres now. So we'll go back out there and do a couple of runs as the conditions are continuing to improve, and yeah, hopefully we'll end up somewhere near the front of the grid. So just coming out the pits now. Just what is it? Under 4 minutes left for session, so we'll get 2 laps in. Right then. We'll get a couple of laps in and see what we can do. So 7th place in the end. We've had 2 fourths in qualifying, Canada and Baku, and now we're in 7th place here. Last 3 qualifying sessions all been wet, which is a bit of a theme at the moment. But Hamilton's taken pole from his teammate Bottas, Ferrari on row 2, then Ricciardo and Massa's out qualified as 5th and 6th. Kvyat, Grosjean and Verstappen round out the top 10. Further down, Alonso's done well to get into 13th place. His teammate is in 17th, Force India 14th and 16th, and Sainz has had a poor one as well, back in 19th. And of course, Pascal Wehrlein, ever the reliable teammate, 20th place and last. So the resource points for qualifying, being very nice indeed. Another 85. We're already getting close to the 600 mark. Rivalry, of course, Massa unfortunately out-qualified us by half a tenth of a second, and so he's now 2 points ahead. And the reputation would have crept back up just a little bit with all the teams as well, which is nice. And now we'll finally listen to the voicemail with sunny skies outside for Austria. 15th, beat Massa, championship target 16th place. I don't know about Massa, but the other 2 are certainly achievable. Not much else to look at then, really. Yes, we might just go straight to the race then.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Massa, Sauber, Kvyat, Grosjean, and Max Verstappen. Stroll, Palmer, Fernando Alonso, and Perez, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Stoffel Vandoorne, and Kevin Magnussen. Sainz and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So then, it is cloudy, but there's going to be no threat of rain. I don't know whether to start on this strategy. Usually the alternate strategy seems to work quite well for us, and I know that 10 laps on a set of super softs is around about 40%, and will be a lot quicker towards the end of the race. So I think I'm going to do the obvious and go for the there we go. Oh, what's that saying? What's the projected? 9? No, we'll do 10. I'm quite happy with that one, to be honest with you. We're not going to change the setup or anything like that. Starting on the super soft tyres will probably be the only car to do it, and if we keep it clean to turn 1 and sort of hold ourselves in the top 10, and by the time we make our pit stop we should still be in the top 10, which is what I want, and then a nice run to the flag on the quicker tyres. So yeah, if we keep it clean in the first 3 laps, there's definitely points achievable, which is my main target for virtually every race this season. 21.2 laps worth of fuel, so we've fueled just over 3 laps more than normal, which is nice, which means you can run probably a majority of the middle part of the race in rich mix, which will help us out in the pit stop phase. So we'll get the formation up out of the way and then get the Austrian race on the go. So I quickly noticed in the formation lap a lot of people are actually starting on the super soft, so this is going to be interesting. Long hold, but away we go now. Not a bad start. The Ferrari's had a poor one. Everyone's kept it nice and clean. We remain in 7th. Up the inside of Massa. Through we go, forcing him wide. P6. Come around to complete lap 1. Our pace in the practice sessions was average. We was languishing around about the P14 to P17 mark, so we're going to be losing time to the leaders here. We've got Massa defending the middle of the track. So lap 3, DRS is now being enabled. Hopefully we can keep Massa behind us for long enough. So then into lap 5, bumped up to rich mix. The leaders have absolutely buggered off into the distance. And it looks like I've got a nice little battle here with both Massa and one of the Red Bulls. So into lap 9, not much has happened, just pounding away at the moment. Ricciardo, so it's Verstappen that's behind us with Massa. It's Ricciardo that's made a pit stop. A few other drivers are as well, but I think a few more of us are going to be carrying on for a few more laps here, because a lot of us started on the super soft tyres. But we're doing alright. So I'm going to box this lap, and try to get a bit more of an overcut over the two guys behind me. Well, Verstappen's come in with us, but Massa's stayed out, and I kind of want to come out with a bit of a bigger gap over these guys. But it's going to be close with Verstappen. So we've come out in 10th place, and we've got Verstappen behind us, but he's now in the super softs. So hopefully we can pull a bit of a gap over him and Massa when he makes a pit stop. Here's Massa coming out the pits. I think Verstappen's got the undercut as well. So let's push Massa behind him, which helps me because Massa's now on the ultra softs just like us. Got Verstappen and Massa behind me. You can just see there at the top of the screen they're battling quite hard, so that's helping us to escape. Oh, the safety car has come out. Hulkenberg's retired, not too sure who, what, where, when or why, but the safety car has come out. That's slightly annoying. We were safe in 6th, now we're going to come and do a bit of attack, I think. So safety car's in at the end of his lap. Don't even know if I'll catch the queue ahead of me. I've got to keep pushing just in case we don't. Because Verstappen and Massa are behind us, and here they are. So we caught right up to them, and away we go again. So just like that, the top 8 are all together. It's a bold one on Ricciardo for 5th. And we're up to 5th. And now Alonso's out as well. Oh, there's an engine blow up behind us. Someone's gone. I think it's Verstappen. It is Verstappen. Final corner. And we'll take 5th place. Not bad in the end. So that was a crazy end to that race. The first 14 odd laps were pretty uneventful and boring, just holding my own in 6th place before and after the pit stop. Then the safety car comes out for Hulkenberg's retirement, not too sure why. I think the safety car should only come out if there's a crash, not an actual mechanical failure, but managed to catch up to the field just as they went green, managed to get past Ricciardo into turn 2, and then our life was a little easier towards the end when Verstappen retired, but I wasn't really worried about him. And we picked up 5th place from 7th on the grid, which is another 10 points. So Hamilton's won the race from his teammate Bottas. Vettel and Raikkonen in 3rd and 4th. They were completely in the league of their own. We set the fast lap for 9.9, which was 4/10 off Ricciardo, but quicker than everyone else. Massa in 7th, so beating our rival. Grosjean in 8th, so Haas do get some more points, much needed points. Perez has recovered from 14th to 9th, and Stroll picks up the final point. Other notable performances: Sainz has gone up from 19th to 13th. Verline has finished 16th, legitimately ahead of Van Dorn. And of course Verstappen, Alonso and Hulkenberg all retired in the last 3 laps. So in the standings, Bottas has extended his lead just a little bit, 7 points over Raikkonen, but Hamilton and Vettel are still fairly close. Have we moved up? No, we've stayed in 8th place for now, 2 points behind Massa and 8 points ahead of Perez, which is nice. And yeah, a couple more points for Haas as well has helped him probably in the constructors. Mercedes lead Ferrari by 17th, Red Bull safe in 3rd. We've now jumped back up to 5th place, a point ahead of Force India. And Renault are quite a way back, as are Toro Rosso and Haas, and of course McLaren yet to score a point. So yeah, we're looking good at the moment for a good fight between Sauber and Force India. And if Williams have a couple of poor races, you never know, they might get dragged into it as well. So 44 points at this time of the season. We've already scored more points than what we had for the entirety of last season. So yeah, season 2's going well so far. So the resource points for the race, another 110, takes us 645. And then the first driver bonus as well, another 54, 699 in total. The rivalry update, 4 ticks against his 2, so we're now back up to drawing, which is good to see. So we're taking it to the Williams of Massa at the moment. Team approval, this should be at the max of the purple again, and the approval for a lot of the cars, a lot of the teams has gone up quite a bit. We've had a very successful practice, qualifying and race weekend, so long may it continue. And finally, the career score for the weekend. Good chance of going over 10,000 here again. Yep, 11,225. Another decent weekend. And that is it then. That is Austria done and completed. No classic car events to do this time. So we've got 699 resource points. We can't do one of these, can we? It's what is it? It's 800. We can do this if we want to. And at the same time, we can also maybe save up, because after the next weekend, which is, what is the next weekend? Let's have a quick look. It is Silverstone, which in Season 1 we scored a point at, and we were very competitive, and I'm expecting to be very competitive there as well. So I'm kind of tempted, because if we have another competitive weekend, we'll have more than 1,000 points. In fact, we definitely will, to get this done. In fact, just looking at maybe the practice sessions, if we manage to get purple and everything, we'll probably be looking at about 350 for the 3 practice sessions. 400 after qualifying, at least 500 after the race will take us well over 1,000. So we could do that, and then in the next race, then focus on the chassis. So yeah, no, you know what? I think we're going to crack on with the chassis, get all of that done now, and by the end of the season, we should have all these minor ones done, and then maybe for the end of season bonus, we spend on these, because we only need 2,200 to get these 2 done, and then get the powertrain done. So finally, we are going to there we go. We're going to develop some chassis bits. I've been saying it from the start of the season. We should start on this. We're now finally doing it. Leaves us with 99, which means we need 501 in the Silverstone weekend, which is achievable. And then we can maybe do another one as well. So, yeah, hopefully none of the parts will fail, because I've got none of these done. And if they do fail, then it means we're going to have to wait another week and pay half price, which would be another 300. So, yeah, there's a possibility it could fail, but hopefully it doesn't. And so that's it then. There's not much else left to talk about, and thank you very much for watching this episode. Good qualifying, good race in the end, which is sort of makes up for the disappointment on Baku, and our season's gone pretty well so far. Just having a quick look through here in season 2, we've had a 7th, a 9th, a 5th, an 8th, a 4th, another 5th, so we've spent, what's that, 5 of the 9 races we have scored points. No, sorry, 6 of the 9, so yeah, good conversion rate at the moment. Long may it continue. I don't want to say what is my target for the end of the season. However, I'm expecting maybe by the time we hit Italy and Singapore, some of the drivers are going to have to start changing parts, because they will run out. And so there's a possibility we might be starting higher up the grid, which means there's a possibility of more points. And there was a couple of races, wrong page, in season 1. I can remember I think at Mexico we had a good chance of points. Brazil we could have had more points, and so there's a possibility. Italy as well. I'm really looking forward to that. So I think, you know, I don't want to say 100 points is achievable, but if we can get close to 100 points, I reckon we've had a very good season. So for now, anyway, we'll end the episode here. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.